again? Come
Moving
on.
on to the next subject.
Yeah, all 60 people, all 60 people that were there back and with a new subject in mind. Let's go. Oh, shit. It's taking them a while. Jealousy, turning face into the sea, swimming through sweet lullabies, choking on your alibis. But it's just the price I pay. Destiny is calling me. Open up my inner eyes. I'm Mr. Brightside. Why is dropping the soap such a big deal in American prisons? Because if you bend over, somebody can come up behind you and put their willy in your winky. You know what I'm talking about? You bend down to pick up the soap, that puts you in a compromising position. Want to see Dinor running around? Well, he's not running around right now. He's chilling up here on the porch with us, watching to make sure that nothing enters the yard. You can ask whatever you want. I can't promise you I'll answer. I may not know, I may not care to answer, but you can ask me whatever. You don't gotta ask if you can ask. I wouldn't be here if I didn't want people to ask me questions. One of your mods have me banned on my main account. I'm not sure why. Okay.
What is your main account?
What is your main account? I might ban this one. I don't blame you. I mean, this one is starting to seem a little suspect. But let's see where it goes. What is your main account? It's called Benson. Maybe they thought I was a troll. Well, guess what? You've got one account named Benson. Now you're Maria. So don't get fucked up over here, and you can stay Maria. Otherwise, I hate to tell you, you're going to have to become George or Sarah or Naomi or William. You see how that works? Sam, the court jester, has arrived. What up, Sam? Yeah, and I gotta tell you guys, like, the fucking if it was as easy as me logging into my YouTube account, searching the ban list for Benson and unbanning you, I'd just go do it real quick. But YouTube's back end is literally like 2011 level netcode.
I know there's people that have said that they've been banned, and I'm just like, I literally can't find you. I'm sorry, bro.
The only way for me to like function, and it's this too. People will you have a display name and an account name, and those two things are not the same. Sometimes when you're banned, it shows one. Sometimes it shows the other. Most people don't even know what one is because they never use it because it's their Google account name. So it's like the only way to functionally unban is to do what I do. Every 2, 3, 4 months, I wipe the ban list completely clean. Because that's the only thing that the interface will allow you to do, is go page by page, select all, unban, select all, unban until you're done. So there'll be like probably 2,000 or 3,000 people on it when I go in there, right? Just dum-dums, nobodies, bots, alts, weird shit, right? And there's no way for me to sort through all that. So my thing has always been every 3 months, every 6 months. I don't have a fucking date on it, but when I feel like it's time, I go through I wipe the ban list. It's the only way to handle it. Why unban? Kind of defeating the purpose. Because bans are not permanent here, right? People are banned so that they'll shut up and quit being attention seekers in the moment. They're not banned because I think that they as human beings never deserve the right to speak in one of my streams again, right? Like that's, people get butthurt about bans, but like to me, that's all a ban is. It's a shut the fuck up button. That's it. It's a you don't know how to fucking socialize with people button. Also, if you ban someone, they just come back on an alt. Best outcome is they're gone for the stream. Yeah. Yeah. YouTube makes it so easy to create an alt, and they're not tied to your main account, so you don't even have to create a new Google account. You just create another fucking alt channel. Takes like 10 seconds, and you're back, right? So there's just no point. Banning is a pointless endeavor. The reason I have so many of my fucking wrenches handling it is because the only way that I've found to mod the chat to the point where it's not just gibberish, inward towers, ligmas, pick me behavior, main character syndrome behavior, etc., is to have my mods, to have 5 or 6 mods around that just snipe it. And then what's left behind, sometimes it's nothing. But once those people get bored of making an alt, posting one thing, I don't see it or read it, it disappears. Make an alt, post a thing, I don't see it or read it, it disappears. Eventually, they get to the point where they're like, this is a zero-sum game, I'm going to go find somebody else to troll. Once enough of those people have gone out of the chat, my mods don't ever have to ban anybody, really. Once in a blue moon, you'll see a ban come out. That's it, dude. Like, people think there's all kinds of politics involved and people getting banned off of this thing. No. Dude, if you cop a ban on my stream, and I'm not even being mean, I'm just telling you what it is. If you cop a ban on my stream, you're retarded. You were acting like a retard. I'm not a special needs coach. I don't know how to handle you. You're gone. That's it. That's the only thing that ever gets a person banned out of here. You're retarded. You fucking don't know what you're doing, and you don't know that other people are laughing at you or fucking pointing at you or giving you the signs that, like, you're a fucking weirdo and you stink. Yeah. You're basically getting kicked off the short bus for wiping boogers on the windows, and you won't stop, right? Like, I'm not a special needs coach, though. I don't know what these fucking people need. So I give them what I think they need, which is a fucking ban. And that's it. That's all the politics involved right there. Like this guy right here. Made a whole fucking alt just to get sniped. See what I mean? See how quick it happened too? Whole alt. First thing he's posted. Sniped. Too retarded. Too fucking retarded to participate with adults. That's it. I enjoy when Paul bullies the sweaties. Yeah. I like bullying the sweaties too. You're better at it though, Zoe. Like, I mean, you bullied me. I'm a sweaty. And you bullied me in front of a fucking live audience. To the point where I had to fall on the ground in despair. You're the best fucking sweaty bullier that I've ever fucking met. In person. You decimated me. And then you took the 10 pieces that you cut me into and you decimated each one of those. Isn't that wrench worthy? Yes. But here's the thing with Zoe. And you'd only know this if you'd met Zoe. Zoe doesn't give a fuck. Zoe doesn't want the wrench. Zoe doesn't care about the wrench. Zoe would probably misuse the wrench. Zoe is wrench worthy. Absolutely. But I think it would be disrespectful to give it to her, honestly. But that's just me having met Zoe in person. I know Zoe a little bit in person. And so, you know, it's not even too much power. It's a burden, really, that I would not throw on Zoe. You know, as long as nobody, like, the only problem with that is I'm afraid somebody might snipe Zoe being Zoe one night. And then I gotta go fucking get her unbanned. So I always watch to make sure. But no. I would never, ever foist the dubious honor of wrenchhood on Zoe. No one Zoe should have all that power. Hey, hey, hey. What am I drinking? Cold brew. Amelia makes cold brew coffee in the summers. So she got me a little cup of cold brew in my capybara appreciation club tumbler with the straw. Top tier tumbler. I know. Is there anything better than ice? Soft ice. You know that, like, real good ice that some places got, those ice machines that make that soft ice that just like crunches real easy. Makes everything all frosty. See? That's the best ice. Too lazy for cold brew? Bro, cold brew's pretty fucking simple. You brew a big, giant, double batch of coffee, right? And then you just put it in the fucking fridge overnight. And you let it get cold. And then in the morning, you throw in some ice, some creamer. Put it in your tumbler and suck it up, bro. It's not hard. It makes itself, yeah. That's why they call it cold brew. Oh, well, make some room in your fridge, dude. Pull out a couple of jugs of Sunny D. Down that little half of fucking 2 liter of Tubbs root beer, right? You were a barista for 8 years, yeah. I'm a fucking dead ass barista too. If you put me on an old school manual steam machine, Italian, any brand, I would blow doors on most baristas to this day. I'm good. I was a good barista. I wasn't just a barista. I was king shit barista, okay? You can't tell that by looking at me. Look at this. You walked into a Starbucks and I go, "Hey, welcome to Starbucks. My name is Paul. How can I help you today?" You know you're about to get a good ass frappuccino. You know you're about to get a killer ass cappuccino. You know that cold brew going to be on point. You know there's going to be caramel on that caramel macchiato. Oh yeah. Yeah. I know how to do latte art, okay? Not even kidding. Nah, I mean, it's not harder. It's just like, it's the same thing. If you worked at a fucking donut place, there's all these little recipes and little things that you gotta know. If I would have, like, if at the height of my Starbucks shit, if I would have stepped into your job at the donut shop, I would have been just as clueless as you would have been if you stepped into my Starbucks job. It's not a hard job. It's just a job that requires you to learn a lot of shit, right? But once you've learned that shit, it's like autopilot, bro. That's something that I miss about working at Starbucks, especially back in the day, because now they've got these machines called Verismo where they just push a button and the shot comes out. Back in the day, it was a whole process. I had to pull my pod, drop the cake, rinse, fill from my grinder, 2 pulls, perfect tamp, put it back in the machine, time my shot, 16, pull it, incorporate immediately with my milk that's been steaming on my manual steamer over here, pull that off, plenty of foam in there, boom, you got your latte, right? So like it becomes this autonomic response because it's busy and you're working on autopilot. And I got to tell you guys, like working a shit job, that was my favorite thing in the world to do that I've ever done at a shit job. You know why? I would gravitate towards the morning shifts because nobody wanted them. So it kept me rich because I was always, 40 hours a week plus covering morning shifts, right? So I would go in, I would hit my preferred position, which was first position bar. Nobody would argue because I was the best on bar. I would work for what felt like an hour, maybe 2 hours, right? Just doing my thing. I'd look at my watch and I'd go, holy fuck, I go home in half an hour. That's the best part about it, bro. You get skilled at something and then you work a job where it's not, see, that's the thing about being a barista. It's not repetitive. It's repetitive at a certain scale because you're making the same drinks, but every customer is a different order. Every customer is a different problem. They're coming at you nonstop, and you have to be cool-headed and know your machinery and know your skills enough that you're not going like, oh, fuck, caramel macchiato. What the fuck is that? Where am I? No. You've got 3 of them going. You look like a Seattle lesbian. Cool. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen a lot of bearded Seattle lesbians, but I'm sure they're out there, bro. I'm sure they're out there. I'm just going to say, like, lesbians from wherever you're from, bro, they got that facial hair popping, huh? Is it all ladies where you're from? Is mama bearded? Daddy and a caddy? Was Meemaw bearded? I'm just wondering, player. I'm just wondering. Anytime somebody says, like, you look like a chick, I wonder, what the fuck do women look like where this motherfucker grew up? Like, what cave system did this motherfucker grow up in? It's always like a self-diss. It's wild. Looks like a chick means you look beautiful and done up, I assume. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, what a gut punch, bro. Looks like a chick means wanna fuck you. Oof. Ugh. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's keep it civil, guys. Don't worry about it. I'll keep it civil. You don't got I don't need no referees in the chat. I don't know if you see the wrenches. Them's my referees. You keep your fucking mouth shut. We don't need no comments from a peanut gallery about what people can and can't say and how civil people gotta be. Be as uncivil as your motherfucking ass wants to be. I'm a pretty uncivil person too. Here's a super chat. I wanted to send you a few streams back. Not sure why I couldn't do it on my main, but no biggie. Love the streams. Thanks. Hey, Chef Roach. Thank you. Always appreciated. Never solicited. Appreciate it. Always nice. What I got going on? Bro, I'm going to be dead ass honest with you. We just finished a 5-week cycle. I'm chilling for a couple of days. So like yesterday, I just kind of chilled. Spent a lot of time enjoying the backyard, watched a movie, fucking kicked my feet up, took a nap. You know what I mean? I'm going to do another day of that. And then it's on, bro. I'm going to be fucking writing. I've been kind of like passively as I'm sitting here sketching out the shape and scope of the Cinema for Cynics script I'm working on, and it's coming together. My headspace is there, right? I just need to be ready to go through the mania that is a Paul's ego scripting session, okay? And I've been a little uptight lately, and so I'm letting myself get a little woo-way for a couple of days. And then it's time to go all the way in. So I've got a week. I'm holding myself to the work week, so Monday through Friday, and that's gonna be I'm gonna have my first draft at the end of that. I can already kind of smell it. I can see it. I can feel it. But it is a burst of absolute creative mania that I have to manage because it gets a little bit. I get intense. Shit, I love to see. Oh man, you're gonna fucking. I've already kind of talked about it on the show, so I'm coming back with a big franchise retrospective of, drum roll please, Twilight, the entire Twilight series. What weirder popular series could a guy like me with tastes like mine possibly pick? I don't think there is one. But we are going to deconstruct together through the lens of Cinema for Cynics and try and see what the fuck happens and what the fuck happened in and to Twilight. Sam, you're gonna fucking love it. You're gonna love it. I don't know if anybody else will, but you will fucking love it. Will hot vampires be the focus? The movies are the focus, but hot vampires will be a part of that. Hot werewolves. It's going to be a while, Sam. Like I said, I'm starting scripting this week. I'm starting earnest scripting. I've got research script done. We're starting scripting. Second watch through while I script. Every Gen Z chick, every fucking millennial chick loved Twilight. Every fucking Gen X chick loved Twilight. It is a broad spectrum, right? And every dude from those eras was confused as fuck, myself included. I never watched that shit. I was like, chick flick, chick flick, chick flick. Right? I watched them shits. I'm not going to tell you anything because I don't want to spoil. But bro, my mind is blown. Broad spec. You see what I said there? You got it. Well, what it was, Sam, I'll tell you this and then I got to stop because I don't want to fucking poison the well. What it was, Sam, was this. It was a peek into the mind of women. It's like, okay, I'm a man. I know what men fantasize about, right? I know what a male power fantasy looks like, right? Doom guy, big gun, nobody can kill me, I'm everything proof, right? I've never in my life seen a female power fantasy. And now I have. And I'm about to do a fucking huge review about it. And that's it. Any chick flicks you like besides Eternal Sunshine? You know what? That might be a video one time because there are 4 or 5 chick flicks that I think are pretty good. You've Got Mail is a funny movie, and that's a chick flick. It's another one that I like. A lot of people would argue Clueless is a chick flick, but I think that's one of the most brilliant movies of the 90s. There's 3 for you, right? Is Eternal Sunshine a chick flick? It's borderline. I would let it go. I would let it go. I would, if somebody said Eternal Sunshine was a chick flick, I wouldn't correct them. I don't know if I would label it a chick flick on my own, but got cancer yet? Got banned before? Super simple. What women want? No. I kind of, because I grew up around women. I have nothing but sisters. I didn't even have a brother growing up, right? So it's like, I know what women want to a certain extent. That question is varied depending on the woman, but I know the baseline of what women want. I didn't need that. Oh, the movie What Women Want. No, I haven't seen that. Clueless is Shakespeare for, yeah, it's the Taming of the Shrew through a 90s lens, right? But it's a chick flick. It's a romance flick. It's a chick about people falling in love and not being right for each other, but being together anyway, and sexuality and fashion and music and cool clothes and hot girls and blah, 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 blah. Right? Dude, you need to chill on the smokes. Let me tell you something, bro. I'm 45 fucking years old, and somehow I've stumbled all the way through the pitfalls of life without your advice. What makes you think I need it now? Just chill the fuck back on it, bro. What do women want? Okay, you wanna talk about this? What do women want? The simplest answer that I can give you, if you boil it down and make it the most fucking gray answer, the most generalized answer, the answer is stability or security. You could use those interchangeably. But I think stability works better because stability and security can mean different things depending on contextual usage. I think they're synonymous in this conversation, so I don't think you're wrong. But that's what I mean, right? So Zoe, stability, right? You want somebody that's got your back when you need them and that has yours, or that you have and you have theirs, right? Stability. You want to know who you're with, and you want somebody that's as invested in you as you are in them. So that's why I say, if you boil it down to the grayest, most generalized answer, what do women want in a partner? Stability. I think that's what humans want. Do you also want stability? I do. But as a general rule, and at certain eras in our life especially, men do not want or care to have stability. And there's a lot of men my age and older who don't care or want to have stability, as is evidenced by the ratio of men who cheat on their wives, have second families, right? That's not somebody who truly, genuinely, deep down at the core of them wants stability. They may project that they want it, but they don't. There are women that are like this too, right? They don't want stability. They want chaos. But I'm saying that's why I said, as a general rule, that boiling it down to the most gray, generalized, overarching answer, the answer is stability. When you start digging into individuals, the answer starts changing, right? I'm living proof that women don't care if you look like a Greek god, right? I'm married. I've never been fucking single for longer than 6 months since I was 18. Always had a partner. Never had a problem either. Never went through a loneliness. Never went through a, oh man, I'm never going to find you. This just didn't happen to me. And I've always looked like this. Always been fat, beardy, weirdy, lumpy, grumpy. Right? So this idea that women want this fucking Greek statue, some of them do, and you're never going to get those girls. I'm sorry to tell you. You can't pull everybody. But what I'm telling you is that women will surprise you with how unshallow they are in their attractions. Right? If you actually listen to women, which I've spent my whole life doing, like I said, I grew up with 5 sisters, right? Had a very mixed group of friends that had a lot of girls in it, right? I grew up my whole life listening to women. If you listen to them, right, beyond when they're just being like we are and going like, oh, damn, look at his abs, look at his pec. If you listen to them, right, outside of those moments, they'll tell you what they want. They'll talk about somebody else's boyfriend and how jealous they are. And you look at that guy and he's kind of dumpy. You're like, what? You know, got a big ass nose and he's kind of got zits and shit. And you're like, what? That guy? You listen to what they say about him, though. I'm telling you, my key, and I was talking about this last night a little bit with somebody. My key always, and you can't fake this, but you can work on it, was being funny, right? I figure if you can make somebody laugh, you've got a foot in the door, right? That doesn't mean everybody that laughs at you wants to blow you, but that's a baseline, right? That you can start from. I was on the other end of that, Jacob. I am the eldest of 5 sisters. So I was the, like, supposed to be the example in the fucking house. And I was the eldest, so I got 5 little sisters. But, different ends of the same thing, you and I, right? No matter how old or young you are, you're still getting slapped in the face. Feels bad. I mean, yeah, man. It's the way it works, bro. Get with it or get out of the game, Well, a lot of people make these assumptions about what women want, and they look at Instagram and they think every woman is shallow, every woman's looking for a gym bro or somebody with perfect bone structure or this or that, and dudes start chasing that shit, and they realize, like, you go to the gym and they're still not pulling women. Why? Because they don't got a fucking personality. Because while we're pumping iron, everybody else is reading books, watching movies, learning jokes, interacting with people, right? So you got to balance your life, man. I'm not saying don't go work out, don't be a gym bro. It's probably a good idea. You probably live longer than me, but don't make that your fucking personality, because nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares that you lift. Nobody cares that you're fat. People care about, like, what's the quality of time they spend in your presence. Does this person make me laugh? Does this person make me feel better about myself? Does this person make me think in different ways? Does this person bring joy and happiness and fun and goodness into my life? If the answers to all of those things are yes, then, women don't really worry about much more outside of that. I'm not saying every woman. I'm just saying if you put them all as a big monolith, talking in generalities, women are not as shallow as men when it comes to looks and physical imperfections in general.
If you go down to the evolution angle of it, it's, looking for a provider.
Well, we were just talking about that. Somebody asked me, what do women want? And I said, in the most general terms, if you take the grayest answer that's the most generalized and you boil it down, right? Stability. Stability is what I said. Which is like predictability, somebody that is your partner, somebody that is with you, has your back, will protect you, will fucking take your side. A partner in life. Stability. That's what most women want, right? If you boil it down. Now, it's complex because every woman's different, right? Every woman likes certain types of guys. There are women that only want to date a tall guy.
There's women that seek out toxic relationships because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. Well, the bad boy syndrome is what I called it, right? Where it's like you're at a certain age, especially younger, teenagers, early 20s, a lot of women, not all, a lot of women are focused on this idea of getting that guy and domesticating him. This dude that's fucking, like, known for being kind of a wild, volatile, toxic influence, but he's kind of hot, and I can change him. Guys do the same shit. Some guys are almost exclusively attracted to women who have profound problems, right? And it's like a what do they call it? A savior or a Christ complex. It's like, a broken person. I can fix them. No, that's both sides. You believe the saying men are visual creatures? Nah, no. I mean, as a generality, maybe, but nah. I mean, men are cerebral as women are, right? It's just that from the evolutionary perspective that Amelia was talking about, women are looking for a provider, for stability, for somebody that can do this. Men if you take it down to biology, are looking to spread their seed to as many healthy looking partners as they possibly can in their life. If you take it all the way down to biology, that's what it is.
Because the investment of the woman is significantly higher.
Right. The woman is left with a child that has to be reared for years and years.
And
the man
be pregnant,
and be
risk her
pregnant,
life
risk
with-
her life.
Yeah.
Right. The man can blow a load, get up, pull up his tunic, and be in another town the next day and never see that woman again. Right. And so the risk is higher for women. So women look for stability. Men look for round hips, big tits, full lips. Right. And I'm not saying exclusively.
No.
I'm saying as a generality.
Yeah.
Men are more looking for physical attributes. Women are looking for physical attributes too, because part of provider means strong enough to lift a thing, strong enough to beat something up,
Healthy enough genetics for a kid,
healthy enough to bear that my son or daughter is going to carry some of that strength, right? So it's not like completely but it's different for women, right? Especially in this time where, like, you think about it, in the early days of our species, there really was only one male job that was needed, right? And it was a multifaceted job. Hunter, protector, builder, right? Soldier, basically, right? Civil servant. And there was a job for women. Camp tender, child raiser,
do some medicine.
medicine maker, and oftentimes they foraged for food, and in a lot of Native American cultures, the women would hunt as well. But there were different social structures then. Life was simpler. Think about it now. Men don't have to know how to hunt to provide. I provide by talking. That's a weird fucking job, right? That doesn't fit into our evolutionary scale as neatly as if I were a fucking construction guy or an outdoorsman, survivalist, cop. Anything like that seems like a more traditional thing that women would gravitate to, right? But that sort of protection, that level of physical prowess is not needed in order to be a provider in these days, right? And so what women look for in men has broadly changed since the time of our hunter-gatherer lifestyle, because the options for both men and women have fucking like exploded. So what it means to be a provider, a hunter, a protector, a stability, a rock in that person's life has changed. It's utterly changed.
And the way people date now is very divorced of that typical evaluation people used to do.
True. Well, like the online dating thing is very shallow.
Yeah.
Even when they try and add like a bio and stuff, it's all just what do I think is going to make somebody want to fuck me that you put in that. It's getting to know somebody that makes a connection. And that's not what dating sites are about. Dating sites are about what's your initial, would you put your penis in this? Would you let this fuck you?
Yeah.
Left or right? No, yes, no, yes, no, yes. If you match up with somebody who also swiped on you, you get a chance to see if they want to fuck. That's fine. I don't got a problem with that, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's not a place to meet people. It's not a place to learn about what a person really is and how they really are. So we bring this up a lot, and I hate to have to ask you about it again, but just to back me up, we met online on Instagram. We had a little thing going on that was DMs, and we called each other and stuff like that. But you remember, when it got real between me and you, what did I start talking?
I have to get over there in some way.
Or I got to get to you or something.
Yeah.
We have to make this real.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not.
Yeah.
And we did. And it was this time, right? But that's how it should happen. Do you think why monogamy fails so often is because as species we're closer to polyamorous?
I really don't think there could be an argument that we're largely polyamorous.
No. Polyamory is a different thing than what you're talking about. Non-monogamy is not polyamory.
Yeah.
Those are two different things. They might be connected. You might be non-monogamous and polyamorous, but these are two. It's like atheist and agnostic.
Yeah. Well, again, going back to like the evolutionary thing, women take a much higher risk partnering, so they're going to want one partner generally.
Right. And
Yeah.
if you look at it from the male perspective too, with much smaller groups, finding one mate and protecting that mate so that you can have multiple children with that healthy mate is more important than spreading your seed.
Yeah.
It's only when humanity got to a critical mass where men had more choice and women had more choice that became a thing. So monogamy is a tricky subject because you could make an argument that because we started off as a small group hunter-gatherer tribal society, right? That monogamy is kind of built into our DNA in the same way that spreading our seed is. So it's not something that it's not black and white. There's gray in between.
We don't have problems with people that aren't monogamous. I just don't think it needs to go as far as saying that it's better than monogamous.
It always tweaks my nose a little bit when I hear people that are non-monogamous say we're just living like humans are supposed to. And it's like, well, you're living like humans can, but there is no supposed to.
Yeah.
There's been all the complexity of human sexual coupling and the arrangements as that. If you could have a record of all of it, it would be mind-blowing. Mm-hmm. Right? So there's not this idea that humans were always one way, humans were always another. It's
well,
just
I just hate the argument like this is how we started. It's like we still evolved past the hunter-gatherer thing.
Yeah.
It's been more subtle evolution, but still evolution.
It's been less biological. It's been psychological and civilizational evolution. If you were to take a person from now, the only thing that would just and put them back there, the only thing that would distinguish them from that human would be how fat they were, microplastics in their blood. But like biologically, functionally, they would be the same organism. So we haven't changed much, if at all, since then, biologically, expressively speaking. But psychologically, we have evolved immensely. Human beings were not things that evolved to handle the simple things that we consider to be simple pressures, like driving a car. Just the act of getting behind the wheel of a car and driving it from one place to the other without destroying yourself or somebody else is something we take for granted because we all probably do it a lot. But dude, if you were to fucking try and take a tribes person and put them in a car, they'd kill themselves in a second. They'd be terrified of it. They wouldn't know what to do with it. In the same way you wouldn't know what to do if you popped up with your fat ass
and they give you a spear.
And they gave you a spear and a loincloth and handed you a fucking hunting horn and looked at you like, let's go. Right? You'd be like, what? Right? So that's what we're talking about. Right? Human beings, biologically similar, psychologically similar, but widely different experientially. Concept of loving multiple people and being attracted sexually to all of them makes sense to me, so I don't see why it'd be a fringe way to live. I'm not saying it's fringe.
It's not better than the other.
Right. A lot of poly people will say, when you dig down into why and how and what they're doing, right, they'll say, well, we're just living like human beings used to live. And I'm like, human beings did not used to have complex polycules, bro. They've existed, but that wasn't like part of how we did shit. That has no benefit in a tribal hunter-gatherer society.
Or like the ones that did it were like very high up.
High ups, right, yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's happened. It did exist, but it had nothing to do with like the way people are polyculing now. Right? This really complex, equal, interdependent kind of way of respecting one another, that shit's new, bro. That shit ain't old. That's new. Right? Yeah, I'm not arguing the validity, though. You haven't heard me say it's bad to be in a polycule.
But just arguing that it's somehow better or more natural
there's
is bullshit.
There's an argument that, like, monogamy is some kind of freak thing that just came out of religion that human beings have shoehorned themselves into that isn't real and isn't right, and that's why people cheat. That's wrong. That's just wrong, right? It's not bad to be monogamous. It's not bad to be polygamous. I don't care. As long as it's adults involved and they're all consenting, fucking do whatever you want, bro. It's none of my business. But yeah, if you study psychosexuality, you learn that there are generalities about human beings, but individuals are incredibly complex because sex is an incredibly central part to what and who we are, and how it expresses is super duper complex, individual to individual to individual. That's why there was a pretty famous psychologist named Kinsey who did a lot of pretty controversial studies on sexuality, all aspects of it, to try and dig down into some of that complexity. And his scale is still used when kind of like sussing out homosexuality and the what degree you're homosexual, the problems of homosexuality in a society that doesn't accept them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of understanding came from Kinsey's work on that. A lot of psychological understanding about how human beings' sexuality develops came out of that group of studies. They were controversial because it talked about shit that people find uncomfortable. Childhood sexuality and pedophilia and all that type of stuff was explored clinically by Kinsey, and he wrote papers that are still the basis of a lot of research these days, right? What are your thoughts on gender abolition? I'm fine with it. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not, to me, as a guy, I never struggled with my gender. I struggled with my sexuality, right? I was raised at a time where being gay or bi, as I am, right, was like tantamount to being a fucking serial killer. You were just a pariah in your family and in your community. And so I struggled with the expression of my sexuality. I struggled with who I was attracted to, not who I was. I always felt like I was a boy. And then when I became a man, I felt like I was a man. I've never really struggled with my gender at all. And so I find value in calling myself a man because I think it distinguishes my experience and it is how I've always seen myself.
I think it's too big of an aspect of identity to completely get rid of.
Well, on a long enough time scale, maybe not, right? Maybe we can, but like I don't disregard the idea of gender abolitionism, right? And I would even maybe argue for it under certain circumstances. But in terms of its utility, right? Just from my personal experience, anecdotal experience, right? I'm a man. I've always felt like a man. I've never been like, I think I'm a girl. I think I might be intergender or agender or asexual. I've never struggled with any of that kind of thing about gender and sexuality. I've struggled. The only struggle I had, and it was a lifelong struggle, was with my natural urges and who I was attracted to, right? I was raised at a time where being attracted to other boys, other men, not acceptable. And so what I did in that realm growing up had to be done secretively, and it was done with a lot of shame that was reinforced constantly by everybody around me. Friends, family, coworkers, right? Constant. And so, as a result of that, I was almost 40 years old when I came out of the closet, right? I was 38, I believe, when I came out. So that's what I struggled with. But gender, I didn't. That doesn't mean that other people don't. That's why I could see myself contextually supporting gender abolitionism, or at the very least arguing it for a devil's advocacy, you know? But I don't know that I would support it right now. I don't really see it as feasible.
I just think it's too important to too many people to be like,
Yeah.
let's not even, because it's important to you to be a man. It's not just
Right.
something you're comfortable with. It's something that's part of your identity.
I don't know if it's important. Like, it's not important like I'm a man. It's important in being able to discuss myself.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, it's important that I be able to go like, I'm a man. And my wife is a woman. And, if I know somebody who's, what do they call it? Sorry,
Non-binary.
Sorry, I just brain farted the term. If I know somebody that's non-binary, that's what they are, right? I don't question what people feel about that. Just because I didn't struggle with it doesn't mean that other people don't have questions, aren't exploring things, right? That's fine. I don't care, right? But to me, I never struggled with it, and so the utility of it seems apparent to me, right? But I understand that from a non-binary perspective or a trans perspective, misgendering is a thing, right? It would feel bad to me if people were always like, "Howdy, ma'am," and I was like, I had to go like, "It's actually sir," right? That would feel shitty to me. So I understand why this argument happens and why this. What I will say is Amelia's right. It's not feasible now. But I think that this conversation is on the continuum where maybe in the future it will be more feasible. Maybe gender won't be as important to the way that people express themselves because conversations like this and movements like this for people that feel like they don't really apply to the gender norms, right? And their existence being open and them being out there and talking about it and meeting other people that feel the same way, maybe that is the start of something that 200-300 years from now, gender won't be as important, right? And I'd be fine with that as well. I don't want to put my thumb on the scales of people 200 years from now. They're not going to remember me. Why would what I do have anything to do with what they do, right? The only thing that's going to be a line between me and those people 200 years from now is that the impact that I had on this planet is going to have a fraction of a percentage of impact on what they do, right? And how they feel and what they have to work with. That's it, right? They're not going to consider who I was, what I felt about my gender. They're not going to care about that. They're not going to care about my story about being closeted till I was 38. They're not going to care. That's lost to time already on the scale of hundreds of years, right? What they will care about is how I left this planet, how much shit I left behind me, how many resources I gobbled up, right? What they think about gender, sexuality, polyamory is going to be up to them, right? And if you want my opinion on where that's going, assuming the continuity of a semi-peaceful functioning society, right? I think that there's a good argument to be made that 200 years from now on a continuum, gender won't mean as much, maybe nothing. So I don't know, man. I don't know how that works. Ugh. But that's my thoughts on it anyways, for what those are worth. I like this shirt too. Yeah, this is my summer, just want to kick it, throw on something fucking shirt. And I like to throw it on because it's all fucking colorful and stuff. And I like colorful stuff. I spend a lot of my life, I think the reason, people look at me and they think, oh, a lot of people will come in here trolling, say, oh, this guy's gay. It's like, no, I'm bi. But yeah, it's like I dress the way I do. I like wearing colors and cool patterns and stuff that just catches my eye because I spent a lot of my life having to dress a certain way. And I'm not just talking about at work. I'm talking about at home too. Not to speak ill of exes and stuff, but I was with a woman for a long time who I wanted to kind of look like, if you guys go back on this channel and look a month or go back 6 months or something, you'll see how I used to look, right? For a long time. Long hair, unkempt beard. I didn't have a nice haircut, right? I didn't care to. And I wanted to look like that for a long time through my 20s and stuff, but I was with a person who really wanted me to wear fucking Dockers and button-down shirts and nice shoes and get a nice haircut and to keep my beard trimmed back. And this person really, really wanted me to look a certain way. And when I started to kind of express myself, wearing something that was kind of fucking hippie-ish or let my hair get shaggy or let my beard go wild, she'd fucking straight up come to me and tell me you look awful. You need to fucking please clean up, blah, 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 right? And now you might think about that and go that's not right. But, I'm not faulting her for it. But yeah, it was somebody else basically had control over how I expressed myself for a long time, right? And not control, but I ceded control of that to her, thinking it was a normal part of a male-female relationship for the woman to want to dress up the man like a fucking Ken doll all the time. And it wasn't that bad. I'm not trying to act like it was constant. She let me wear what I want, but it's like there was a background radiation of don't let your hair grow out, don't let your beard get long, you know what I mean? And it was constant. And so when when that relationship ended, and I found myself in a group of people, right? Because right around the time that relationship ended, it had one had nothing to do with the other, but I became a podcaster for a living, right? I was doing it before, but I became it for a living. And all of a sudden, the people that I was surrounded with weren't button down people at a school district, weren't like college kids at a Starbucks that had to dress a certain way because the Starbucks had to say so of over how you dress. Now I'm working with people. Fucking TJ would be shirtless and have his face painted up, and Ben was wearing a fucking luchador mask, and like, you know, all of a sudden, what I look like is up to me. And it took me a long time to start individuating. First thing I did that was real controversial in that relationship was I shaved my head because I was sick of having hair. I was sick of not being able to have long hair. So I was like, fuck it. I know I've got a nice round bald head. I'll just shave that bitch. And so I did. And that was a big controversy in my marriage at that time. It was like, why did you do that? Why? You look like a gangster. You look like a biker. You know, it was not received well, but I kept doing it because that was me. The influence of me being around people who didn't give a fuck and who didn't have people telling them you have to look like this. All of them had long hair. All of them had fucking unkempt beards. It wasn't just the peasants either. It was like all these dudes we had on. You know, everybody had their own thing going on, and I'm sitting there in a fucking. Go look at me in my early peasants days. I'm wearing a fucking polo shirt and slacks in almost every one of those. So when I got to the point where nobody was telling me, Paul, you have to dress this way. Paul, you don't look great. Every time I tried something new, people would go, fucking hey, man, Paul, that fucking looks awesome, bro. Nice shirt, nice hat, I was like, whoa, I can do whatever the fuck I want. I can do it. And so, like, that's how I've lived since then. Amelia will tell you about it. I'm a clothes horse. I have like...
You have about 4 times as many shirts as I do.
Yeah. I don't have a ton of pants, but I have pants. I have shirts. I have sweaters. I have, you know what I mean? And none of them are what I would call like button down, formal, dressy, nice, or otherwise. Right? I've got a couple pairs of slacks. I've got a couple button up shirts for like, I got married in one of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's it, right? Yeah. Sorry, I just hold them for comfort. Yeah. What kind of video do you create? This. I'm a podcaster, bro. This isn't where I make my money most of the time. I do make money here, but deep fat fried or onion nuggets is where you can find me right now. Those are 2 channels we simul-stream to. That makes the most of my bread. You can check us out on Patreon at Pessimist Productions. Just go to Patreon and search for Pessimist Productions. That's me and my 2 business partners and friends, TJ Kirk and Scotty Kirk. They're brothers. I am coming up on my 10-year anniversary, making all my money podcasting. It'll be right around this December, early December for me will be my podcast anniversary. But I've been doing this for it's like 18 years now. It'll be 20 years. I started in 2006, so it'll be 20 years next year. 19 years. Where's your home? Just State, Washington State. Happy anniversary. Thanks. How much would you charge with a 1-hour convo to get into that business? But I know you from way back. And like you've heard, I don't know you. I know you don't hang around in here. You got job and shit, but like I've had conversations with people. Maybe me and you will just fucking pop in one time. You'll come up with a topic. I'll call you on Discord real quick, and we'll talk. You ain't got. I would never like. To me, I don't charge money for autographs. I don't charge money for pictures. That to me,
Well, you
that's
guys
fucking.
learned a hard lesson by like making it a Patreon benefit that you don't like being beholden to talk to someone.
Yeah. When, back in the DP days, one of the Patreon tiers was, you know, the person gets to come on an episode and hang out for a half hour or more if they're good, right? And you know, some people came out of that. I think Egghead was one of those dudes. JF Gary Epe was one of those dudes. You know, and those guys were good content, but 99% of the people that were on that, nobody remembers them because they were fucking awful. They didn't have any radio decorum. Their mics sucked. They were autistic. It fucking sucks, bro. It was just bad. Your show is good. Thanks. Did JF do it? Yeah, probably. I don't know. I'm not. It just seems pretty fucking crazy. Yeah, probably. It's wild to see where JF went from DP. I was just talking about that on a Discord the other day. How wild it is, because like a lot of people don't remember because the lore is deep on JF. JF got really popular when he went alt right because the alt right was peaking right when JF went alt right.
And he'd stood out being an educated man.
Right, he was a biologist, so he could talk about the differences between blacks and whites and blah blah blah, and do all the race realism shit. And so he blew up because of that, right? But when he was on our show, he was already kind of a popular little figure on our show, but not for being a Nazi, not for being a white nationalist. He was popular because he was a biologist, a dude that has a legit PhD, that would let us ask questions like, "How big is an armadillo's dick?" or like, "How many sperms come out when I blow a load?" Or, you know, whatever, like whatever, you know. It was fun, right? He was an eccentric French Canadian guy, had a funny accent, and that's, you know, so that's the lore on JF. Yeah, Jacques Lafrench is JF. Yeah, kinda. Oh, he's greater than JF. Yeah, he's a better Frenchman for sure. You have to lick the leg. That is the key, Polzigo, if you want to get the woman turned on. You lick the leg for her. Oh, what? You lick her leg? Yes. Where on the leg? All over. The heel and the calf? Yes. How long do you lick the leg? 2 hours of leg licking, and she will be ready for whatever. Leg, just the legs. You don't like, you know. No, you never touch the genitals. You lick the leg. All right, JF. I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. It didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work. It was not received with enthusiasm. At first, because it was like foreplay, right? But once it went on for about 3 or 4 minutes, I think it was like, let's do this or not. Or what are we doing here? Right? Yeah, try to lick the leg. You could try. Hey, maybe he's met some women who are into this. I have not. His wife disappeared. No. The town crier's here. Ding, 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 ding. Town crier's here with some fucking year-old news. I love you people. We're talking about a guy in depth, and you think we don't know the biggest thing about that guy. It's fucking wild, bro. People are wild. Main character syndrome and the pick-me behavior has gone fucking crazy, bro. Extra, extra, read all about it. Year-old news on JF Gary Epi. It's like,
There's not much to even talk about with it anymore unless they do a Netflix doc on it.
Unless he gets caught. And when if they find her,
yeah.
and they can find him, then we will have something to talk about. People are fucking wild, bro. People are abjectly wild. Human beings are wild. Wild, out of control, monstrous things. When they get him caught, it will be a wild day. Yep. By the way, everybody in the chat, I want to let everybody know, wrenches included, Sam is the only one that gets away with caps. Because Sam lives her life in all caps. Okay? So do as she says, not as she does, and that goes for everybody. Sam, you can do whatever you want because you, like I said, Sam lives her life in all caps. But nobody else gets to get away with it. It doesn't bother me the least bit coming from Sam because I know Sam. Sam lives her life in all caps. She's allowed to do it. I know what it is coming from you, Sam. That's what I'm saying. I'm giving you the out. You've got the pass. But nobody else gets the pass. Nobody. I don't care if everything you say is in all caps, Sam. You get the pass. Whatever happened to Ribeye Jenkins? Bro, I don't know. Because Ribeye... So here was the thing. There was a trope on DP where, and I was never involved in the guests. Like, I was a contractor with DP. So I would show up, set up the thing for work, set up the show, and then I would find out, oh, we're having on Sex Masterka. And I'd be like, who the fuck is Sex Masterka? And Ben would tell me, oh, she's a Polish streamer, Polish titty streamer who talks about sex. And I was like, she's Polish? Can she speak English? Not real good. And I was like, okay, so go back and find the Sex Masterka episode of DP if you want an example of this. She's the only one's name. Her and Ribeye are the only two e-girls whose names I remember, but there were about 20 of them that came on the show during my tenure, and not a single one of them had a fucking thing to say, except Ribeye Jenkins. Ribeye Jenkins brought the heat in the community for whatever reason. She was a controversial figure, and she's the only e-girl we ever brought on that brought the heat in any way. That wasn't a total Sex Masterka. That episode with Sex Masterka was hilarious. That bitch couldn't understand 2 words of English. She knew, hello, Mickey Mouse. And we were supposed to be like, so what do you do with a dick that has too much foreskin? I don't know. I can't know. I don't know. And it was all well. I don't consider Casey Tron an e-girl. Casey Tron is a professional triple level deep, fucking Inception troll, and always has been. She's not an e-girl. She just plays one on TV. Was like, this is a chick who is a Polish sex expert, titty streamer, who can't tell us a thing about sex because she can't say 2 things in English. Why would we have that on the show? The answer? Question mark, question mark, question mark, titties, I think. So... How are the milkers? They don't hurt at all. That broke me. That's when I knew Casey Tron was 3 levels deep, right? Because I didn't know too much about Casey. I was aware of her when she came on the show the first time, but when we were talking about the milking machines, and she remained straight-faced when I asked her, like, about... Because she was... At that time, the meme was she was setting up a dairy farm. And... I was asking her about the milking machines on the cows. I was like, I mean, what about those milking machines? Don't they kind of like rub the cows raw? And she was like, oh, no, they don't hurt at all. And she just left it there. And the implication was, the euphemism was, I'm on the milking machines. And I just fucking couldn't, dude. I couldn't keep going. I dropped everything. I lost it. She's hilarious, bro. Anytime anybody asks me, who are your favorite guests you ever had on DP? she's always on the list. She may be number one for me because we had her on twice, I think, and both times she was doing this like straight man trolling is what I call it, where she's straight facedly playing this character that's kind of believable, but she says the most absurd shit, and then she just goes like, "What?" But I made her break character a couple of times too. If you go back watch that episode, I made her laugh at some things that I said that that character wouldn't have got, you know. But that was such a fun episode. That was a really fun episode. A true, you know, she's a showman or a showwoman. She knows her craft. She's 3 layers deep. She's got the inception going, and she knows what's what.
You think you'd ever want her on again to like give her side of the controversy she's involved in?
I don't know that she wants to talk about it. Her lawyers are probably telling her to keep her fucking mouth shut and keep the trolling light and pithy. But maybe once all that's wrapped up, yeah, she might be willing to. I'd probably have to be the one to reach out. I love some of the guests on DP. My favorite was Vegan Gaines because he's just too cracked out. Yeah, Vegan Gaines was always a good fight. He always brought the heat. I liked it when we put Vegan Gaines, who was an atheist and a psycho, against like a Christian. That was always fun. I liked Mario. I liked the vigilant Christian Mario. My break into DP, if anything, was trolling the vigilant Christian Mario with Scotty and Ben playing the fucking Mario death drops over and over again. I used to like him. I thought he brought the heat until he got butthurt and stopped coming on. Of course, Brett Keane. I mean, I made my bones on Brett Keane, but I had been doing that for years before, so that was just kismet, you know. But a good foil. I like Tommy from the Bronx. He was a cool character. Still is. Tommy still comes in here, and he's supposed to be coming to this fucking meetup over here. Can't wait to see Tommy and give him a big old hug. See those soft, soft lips one last time from afar. I like Pima. You know, I don't know if there's hard feelings between Pima and I, but always liked Pima. You know, he's a big star now though, so Pima probably not gonna come. He a big TikToker now. Who else from them old DP days was fun? I mean, Jim Ass. I love Jim Ass. I mean, I hate Jim Ass, but I love him. You know what I mean? Jim Ass was the perfect foil to me. He understood me. He found my buttons, and he just was immediately under my skin. And rolling with it was some of the most fun that I had on the show. Jim Ass was great. Kyle, yeah. Kyle. I mean, Kyle was always great when we had him on. I had a great rapport with Kyle the first time I ever worked with him in that podcast. And a pretty great conversation with Kyle and me happened there about education and religion and all that.
And then you traumatized him.
Mm-hmm. And I traumatized him with the story of my pilonidal cystectomy. And yeah, the rest is history. We're still buds as far as I'm concerned. Wouldn't say friends, but like internet content creator buds. Sure.
You don't think he's butthurt about what you've been saying recently?
What was it?
You don't think he's butthurt about what you've been saying recently about him?
If I know Kyle as well as I think I do, Kyle doesn't even know that I've said that shit about him. Kyle does not pay attention to fucking DMs or Twitter. He doesn't tune into the noise. He stays above it. That's his thing. And what I've said about him has been good-natured shit. I wouldn't flip out if he was like, Paul's a fat fucking idiot. You know what I mean? We've had a rapport at this point that I think I understand what kind of guy fucking Kyle is. Maybe I'm wrong, but Kyle seems like a dude, comes from my generation, words are words kind of guy, you know. Is there still any scarring from the cyst? Yeah. If you look at the top of my butt crack, it's weird, right?
I don't think there was any way to not have
No,
scarring.
it was huge. It was huge. Yeah. So yeah, the top of my butt crack has a jagged scar at the top of it. Looks a little weird. Yeah. But it's way better than a giant sack of death growing inside of you like some baby waiting to be born out of your second new asshole. I gotta take my weird, scarred, puckered looking fucking upper tailbone area, you know? Anthony Scamtano. Yeah. Oh, Fantano was fun. Remember when I doxed Fantano? He came on and he was just casually, and I was like, guys, I'm sick of this Fantano guy. And he's like, what? And I was like, I gotta dox him. And he was like, oh no, don't do that. And I was like, what? I can't remember the name. He had a character that he would play at that time that had a mustache. And he'd go, hey, Anthony. And I would say, that guy is actually Anthony Fantano with a fucking fake mustache on. And he was like, you motherfucker. Fuck you. He played into it. Yeah, Cal Chuchesta. Yeah. Yeah, Cal Chuchesta. Yeah. I said Cal Chuchesta is really Anthony Fantano with a dad sweater and a fake mustache on. And he was like, you motherfucker. You dox me. He played into it. It was fun. Fantano was always fun, but I think when we got kind of ultra controversial for a while, he kind of melted into the background a little bit because that's not really his. That especially then, he kind of stayed out of politics. Nowadays, Fantano's more apt to talk politics, but Anthony was more about the music and the memes back then. You know, I hated Billy the Fridge, TBH. Aw. Well, yeah, because we kayfabe that he beat me up. No, Billy is the sweetest boy that you'll ever meet. I'm not even kidding, man. He is every bit as sweet as everybody says he is. He is just a genuine, good-hearted guy. Never been anything but fucking cool to me. Never been any... Two-faced just doesn't exist with Billy. Billy is who he is, unapologetically, and he's just a nice fucking guy. Even when he's mad, he's nice, you know? Billy seems cool, but his voice bothers me, unfortunately. Yeah, you like what you like. No.
And there's people that you can't stand just because of their voice, too.
True, yeah, that is true. Sometimes somebody just fucking brushes up against you the wrong way, their tone or something about them, the way they delivery. Yeah, people, that's a great thing about content, though. You can be selective. If I got a guy that, oh man, the content's interesting, but the voice is driving me fucking nuts. Sorry, guy, I'm going to find somebody else. You're not the only one talking about the Elder Scrolls, friend. Remember when you all wrestled each other? Yeah. Yes. And then I came back on my stream later that night with a fake shiner that Chelsea helped me make. And the fucking whole community went apeshit. They were like, that was real. Billy beat up Paul. And so like it changed, it switched, it flipped in a way we didn't expect. Because at the time we did this kayfabe, the community was all on a fucking fire Paul, hate Paul, kill Paul phase, right? And so I asked them, let me lean into it. I know, and I got Billy on. And I fucking gave Billy the fucking 411. I went down to the garage at the studio and met him when he showed up. And he didn't know nothing about it until then. I shook his hand, said, hey, I'm Paul. He said, I know who you are. I watch you guys. I said, all right, man, listen. Everybody hates me on the show right now. All the fans are fucking want my blood, man. And he's like, okay. And I was like, I want you, if you're cool with it, I want you to lean into that. Like, not right away. Don't be super aggro right away because it'll look fake. But little by little over the night, start saying, like, out-of-pocket shit to me. And he was like, well, give me some stuff. And I told him some of the memes about me. I'm salty. I'm bad at video games. I make excuses. Blah, blah, blah. I gave him some of the shit about me that was hot right then. And I said, just drip and drab some of that shit out. And then let's build to an apex. And if you're comfortable with this, I don't want neither one of us to get hurt, but I've seen you do this before. Let's have a fake fight at the end. I want Ben to cut it. at the end, and we'll just naturally build towards a fight. And Billy looked at me and he gave me a big hug and he was like, dude, this is going to be so much fun. I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, thank you. And so we worked it out in the elevator on the way up, and the rest is history, bro. What happened to Rep? I don't know, man. I think it was Ben that picked up the cam and held it on me as I stood there, and I was like, you guys are serious. I'm not going to get fired or nothing if I whoop this fat motherfucker's ass. And they were like, you can do whatever you have to do. And he stood up and he's like, you know what, motherfucker, come do it. And I rushed him and tackled him, and we were on the couch, and Ben cut the stream. Rep's having a hard time. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Rep was always cool to me. I ain't got nothing against no Rep. He was always chill with me. I always liked him. So sorry to hear he's having hard times. I haven't seen him in forever. I haven't heard about him in forever. So that kind of sucks. But he'll be fine. Rep seems like a guy that's he knows what he's doing. Oh, you gotta find that, Chef Roach. You gotta find the Billy episode. Oh my God, Rep and Pimp Monk were fucking awful at Jeopardy. Awful. It's a good thing that there was a lot of beatings that were handed out on that show, because that show would have been fucking worthless as a straight game show. TJ's brilliant, though. TJ knew. Pimma, give me a cigarette. Pause, go, let me smoke a cigarette real quick. I remember he stayed with me overnight for a couple of nights in my apartment in Bellevue, and he was like, so he got all set up. I set him up, pulled out the couch, got him on his bed, and I was like, yeah, man, there's a bathroom, help yourself, soda and shit in the fridge, water, food, whatever you want. He's like, thank you, Pause. He goes, thank you. He goes, Pause, where do I go if I want to smoke a cigarette? And I was like, well, probably the quickest thing to do is go down the elevator that's right around the corner outside, go down into the garage and just step outside the garage. That's usually where I go, man. And he's like, and he looked at me like I'd told him that he had to fucking traipse naked across the Sahara to have a cigarette. He was like, oh. And I was like, sorry, player, I can't let you smoke in my house. I can't get booted out. Yeah, I know. He's King Beard. Yeah, King Beard X. Yeah. No, I don't blame the guy. At that time, I don't know how big he is now, but at that time he was, I'm not making fun. I'm a fat fuck. He was big. He was having trouble locomoting, having trouble getting up, sitting down, walking, breathing heavy, the whole nine. It was pretty bad. So I don't blame him, but like, sorry, I ain't got a balcony, player. Like, I can't afford a Bellevue balcony, bro. I'm sorry. He was having trouble. Yeah, Sam. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. He was having trouble, man. No, I didn't have a fucking balcony. I had a window. And if I wanted to smoke a cigarette up there, I would open the window and hang out of it. But I'm not letting Pim Monk chain smoke in my apartment. Pimma go down. Pimma go down. Pimma go down to have a cigarette. And Pimma gonna have to get a little exercise. He wants him a cigarette. Ma, I'll be honest with you, Sam. At that point in my life, I couldn't even afford the apartment I was living in. My rent on that apartment before electricity and anything else was pretty much what I made. So Ashley's fucking part-time Jamba Juice job across the street was keeping us afloat. At that point, I barely could afford to be living where I was living. Couldn't afford to have a car. Didn't buy anything new. Nothing. I was broke. capital B broke. I had a couch that I could let him sleep on. I offered that up. No, Bellevue. I lived in downtown Bellevue too. Yeah, $5K for a 1-bedroom. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I lived in the. You guys can look it up. It's still a building. I lived in the Avalon Midenbower building. Has a grocery store in it. Grocery shopping when I lived in that building was going down my elevator to the grocery store and then going back up my elevator home. It was a slick building, bro. You can look at it. It's fucking nice. It probably costs way more now. I imagine it's probably $7K for what I was getting for 5, maybe more. But yeah, Bellevue, not a cheap place to live. But go look that shit up. Avalon Midenbower building. That's also the building that the DP studio was in at that time. DP studio was a building. I was on the 4th floor and the DP studio was on the 7th. And it was a studio, literal studio apartment on the 7th floor with a cityscape view. Same building. You bought right at the right time, bro. I was married at the time, and I bought a house in 2008, right at the right time, for $190. That is now worth north of $800,000. I don't own it anymore because I'm divorced. God damn. But that house has quadrupled. Your mortgage is $3,000. My mortgage at that time on that house that they're saying now is worth north of $800,000 was like $1,500 a month. 14. Not even joking. It was cheap. So I know where you're at, bro. They don't have that anymore. They don't have the Avalon Midenbower building. Maybe they sold it and it's named something else. Let me look it up. Avalon Midenbower Bellevue. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, Avalon Midenbower. That's still what it is. Go images. Yeah. This was my courtyard. This is on the 3rd floor of the Avalon Midenbower building. I used to smoke here too. You weren't allowed to smoke here because it's an indoor-outdoor court. It's on the 4th floor. But that was where I used to walk 9 at night and smoke a cigarette or a joint if I wanted to be outside. What else do they got? Yeah, here's the... Oh, God damn it. Here's the... Here's a look at the side of the building where the grocery store is. So my apartment was actually... You can see my apartment in this picture. My apartment, I'll point at it. Let me make sure I'm pointing at the... Nah, it's not in this picture. It's right over here, though. My apartment was right on this face of the building, just like it would be right here. So it was right over the edifice of the grocery store. So that was why it was so cool, because I just went downstairs for groceries. Or not downstairs, down an elevator, and the elevator let out right in the grocery store. It's crazy. Yeah. Here's what my apartment was set up. Well, no, this is what the DP studio was set up like. This is a studio apartment on the Midenbower building. So this is exactly the room that DP was set up in. The DP couch would have been over here. And all of the other podcasting stuff, mics, 4 guys sitting next to each other, would have been over here. And the whole room in the center there would have been filled with a big table that held all that equipment. But that's the exact apartment. What you can't see from this picture is where this person is standing is a kitchenette. So there's a little kitchenette over there with a microwave oven, little two-pod stovetop, right? Kind of interesting. Let's see if that's an angle on it. Yeah. Oh shit. No, that's the other side. Never mind. I thought I found my apartment. I could find my fucking apartment. Yeah, here it is. So my apartment. This is the Safeway that's in the Midenbower building. My apartment is right next to that smaller Safeway sign right there. So that Safeway, that little tiny, not the big one, right? Those apartments, that was the bridge that took you to the other building, Sky Bridge. My apartment, you see that little tiny Safeway sign that you could see from the ground? That second one right there, that second window was my window, or on the second floor up. So right there, that guy right there. So this sign and one story up, that one. I lived there for a year, and it was $5,000 a month, and that was what I got paid for being on DP at that time. I got paid $5,000 a month. So my girlfriend at the time worked at Jamba Juice. If you look this place up, there's, I think, still a Jamba Juice right across the street. So she would go down the elevator, walk across the street. She worked about 30 hours a week at Jamba Juice. And her check bought food, paid the electricity, etc. So that phone is about to die. That's the one I started the stream on this morning. Do you miss living in the big city? Bellevue was cool, but Bellevue is not like another big city. Bellevue is a very upscale, selective area. I had the same zip code as Bill Gates when I lived in that little apartment. So Bellevue is not a good analog for living the big city life. Were you content at the time? Yeah, I was happy. Bro, I was working such a dynamic job, and, I didn't worry about money. I worried about being able to show up for work. As long as I didn't get kicked out of that apartment and didn't get the lights turned off on me, bro, I had everything I needed. That's all I cared about at that point. I wasn't trying to save money, make money. I just needed to live, bro. I just wanted to continue living how I was living. Doing what I did for a living. Being on that fucking show. Being dynamic on that show was what I lived for at that time. Still kind of what I live for, to be honest with you. The money has always been secondary to me. It's nice. I'm not going to lie. And when it goes, we go, and it's been going since COVID, right? So I'm not saying it's not a concern. It's just that's not why I do this job. I don't do this job because I can make a good living at it. I do this job because there's a job where you talk for a living. Count me in. And as long as that makes me money, as long as I can do okay, that's what I'll do. And if I have to go get another job, I'll go get another job. I've worked my whole life, bro. I don't know anything else. My boy would probably do it for a leather belt. Or no, my boy would probably do it for a Gucci belt. That's all he know. He don't know nothing else. You know what I'm talking about? Did you ever work at a school again? Yeah, sure. If I had to, bro, I'd definitely put in some abs. I don't know that I'd be able to get hired. I definitely got great references. But nowadays, they want that degree for people that were doing my job, Like everybody that got hired after me pretty much had to have a computer science bachelor's. I don't have that, so. My dog would probably do it for a Louis belt. That's all we know. We don't know nothing else. Yeah, that would get you in the door. For my old job, right, being a network systems, my true title changed 3 times, but it landed on network systems information specialist. So if you were to apply for that job position in my old school district, you would need a comp sci bachelor's or equivalent. Data center manager that'll help you too. I don't know if you'd get paid more doing my old job, but yeah, that would definitely get your foot in the door at a place like that. I lucked out, man. They weren't a big enough when I got hired there. They weren't a big enough and rich enough school district to really entice anybody professional to come live in a cow town with their comp sci degree. So it just wasn't needed. And then, the school district grew by leaps and bounds while I was there. It was always growing. It just, when I joined it, it was one size, and when I left it, it was another. And that became different. Pretty close. A couple of years after I was hired, nobody was coming in the door without a bachelor's. I was grandfathered in. They couldn't fire me because I met the requirements at the time, and I knew the job, and I was a good employee, but I was a union employee, so they couldn't just make me disappear. But anybody further, you know, after me had to have that degree. All fancy jobs. I'm just a dishwasher. Well, I worked at the school district, and then I was a barista for 8 years. That's not very fancy. I used to pick garbage for a living. I worked at a recycling center for glass. That was not very fancy. My first ever real job on the books was working at a Wendy's. That's not very fancy. You work your way up, man. You get skills, you get age, you get experience, and you get better jobs. It's just kind of the way it works, or the way it used to work. Maybe it doesn't work that way anymore. I don't know. That's the way it worked when I was a kid. That's what I did. That's the cheat code. Find a shitty job that you can tolerate, work it for as long as you can stand, and if another one comes up, move over, and if not, keep working that shitty job, bro, and keep looking. Geek Squad at Best Buy. Bro, I would have flipped my shit if I had a fucking Geek Squad problem. I never had to use the Geek Squad, but if I did and Sam showed up to help me Geek Squad my fucking laptop, bro, that would have been some wild shit, bro. I bet you were the bomb. I bet you were the best Geek Squad ever. Because you were the biggest, bestest geek that ever geeked. How much you want to bet? I've always worked in restaurants. Work is tough, but I love the industry. Yeah, it's a fast-paced industry, but it's always easier to find a job in a restaurant for sure. There you go, National Best Buy Award. Bam. The geek put the whole squad on game. Yeah, the whole squad, carrying the whole squad, the whole ass geek squad on her shoulders. Yeah, Sam's a geek for sure. She's on squad. 2016 was not that long ago, Sam. You're just a youngster. 2016 was yesterday from my perspective. Let that bake your noodle, Sam. Look at what time hath wrought, Sam. You're a little fucking spring chicken right now, Sam. You get to 45, you're going to feel a little bit differently about that shit, Sam. That was not that fucking long ago, Sam. That was yesterday. 2016, I went to sleep last night and it was 2016. Yeah, you're spring chicken, Sammy. Spring chicken. 27, bro? 20, don't even. You just got potty trained. You're just out the diaper at 27. Don't even talk to me. Call me at 40 and tell me if you feel the same way. That's all I got to say. And I'm not trying to be dismal. I'm just saying. Perspective is perspective, Sam. You're going to notice people your age starting to say, like, what? 2025 was like ancient history. And you're like, bitch, that was fucking 6 years ago. You're going to get it then, Sam. You're going to keep getting it. You and your husband have the same age gap as me and my wife do. I think. Right? You said you're 27. He's 45. My wife is 27 and I'm 45. How did that happen? Wait a minute. Are we anti-twinsies? Are we anti-twinsies, Sam? We're bizarro twinsies. No. I believe it. We're bizarro twinsies, Sam. What the fuck? I'm 29, my girlfriend is 46. I'm living good, bro. Other end of the spectrum, bro. Nothing but respect. Nothing but respect, bro. Bro, you got to tell your husband that. That's just wild. That's wild. That's actually a wild coinky dink. You got to tell your husband about that. That's funny as fuck, bro. $29 and $43. Yeah, see? People act like it's this big fucking deal, but it's super common. Super common arrangement. That's just funny. If it wasn't exact, it wouldn't be funny. But Amelia is 27. I'm 45. Get the pew pew range. Ah. Click, click, boom. Sorry. Got a little woo-way going. It's a weird bird behind me. I know. There's a lot of weird birds out here. I live in the deep forest, Sam. I'm deep. I'm out in the middle of God's green nowhere. Old growth forest all around me. There's a lot of birds. A lot of bees. A lot of coconut trees. I do not get fireflies at night here, no. I live in the Pacific Northwest. Not real common in the area I'm in. I don't think they exist at all here. Small garden, probably not here. Maybe, I don't know. Depends. Probably not at this property. I'm just renting this. But we're currently looking all up and down the area we live in for a little piece of property. And when I get settled at that piece of property, little fucking double wide on a nice piece of woodlands, maybe with a creek running through it. Oh. Once I get settled on that, yeah, I'll have a little pepper garden, probably is how I'll start. My mom had what she called a salsa garden. It's like tomatoes, onions, scallions, 3-4 different types of hot peppers, right? I'd probably start a salsa garden and see how I kept up with that, yeah. Yeah, get a chicken coop, get some hens, yeah. I've seen them before, Roach. When I lived in Louisiana for a couple of years, I saw them for the first time in my life. They're not super common out West Coast, and that's where I've lived most of my life. But yeah, I used to get lightning bugs or whatever they, whichever species they were when I lived in Mandeville, or in that area on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain. I used to get lightning bugs in the night and during the season, and it was just fucking mesmerizing to me. And I told the guys about it because they were living there with me, and they were like, "Oh, dude, back when we were kids, they used to be so thick they would bumping into you, and they were everywhere." I would see them, and you'd see maybe like 20 of them at a time, all through your field of vision, here, there, and everywhere. They said the sky used to be full of them, the night sky, right? Going in to see Superman, I'll let you know if it sucks ass. All right, bro. Yeah. Put me up, because I might go see it like tomorrow or the next day. If it doesn't absolutely suck ass, I might go see it. But yeah, put me in the loop, because I kind of want to just do it just to piss off those fucking people that are all butthurt about it for whatever reason. I don't even remember the reason. I just like it when people are butthurt about a movie, so it makes me want to reward whoever made the movie. So I want to go reward the Superman if it doesn't just suck absolute ass. TJ will tell me. He'll shoot me straight. Yeah, I'm gonna finish up what I'm watching on Hulu, I think, and I'm gonna cancel Hulu because I've had it for a while. I think I'm almost done with Hulu, to be honest with you, for a while. I'm gonna cancel Hulu and I'm gonna get Max again because that's where Centers is at right now. Because I want to check that out, but I'm probably not gonna do it this week. I'm gonna be busy as fuck this week, bro. I'm taking my little break. Yesterday and today are about Paul's ego chilling. Yesterday and today are about Paul's ego kicking his fucking gangly hippie feet up and letting his sour balls air out a little bit and getting his mind a little bit fucking woo-wayed out, a little calm, a little chill. And then tomorrow it's fucking Mania City, bro. Structure of my script is becoming in my mind. I'm starting to see it, starting to feel that like fire of inspiration. And tomorrow's the day, man. Hook or by crook. It's already started in my mind. The structure is already there. I just have to put flesh on the bones, man. So I'm gonna be busy though. That is a tough process for me. It takes me time. It's meticulous. Sometimes it's like lava is like pouring out of me, and sometimes it's like the lava has dried up. You know, I've got to work my way through my process, especially on a big, expansive thing like this. And then whittle it down, you know, but draft one by Friday or I'm going to shoot myself with a water gun. Explain why you think the new Dune movies are good. I tried watching. Look, dude, different strokes for different folks, right? I'm a big Dune nerd. I read Dune when I was 13, 14 years old for the first time. Read the other novels all through my fucking childhood and early adulthood. I've read them since, right? I finished Dune in preparation for the Villeneuve Dune, so I'm kind of a Dune nerd. And if you're a Dune nerd, you get it, and if you don't, you don't. It's cool. It's cool that they're not good. It's cool that they're boring to you. I'm fine with that, bro. Like I said, different strokes. But if you're a Dune nerd or a sci-fi nerd, the type of guy that likes to see those kind of expansive examinations of these alien, far future kind of societies and shit, if that's what you like, by the way, Dune is foundational to that subgenre. If that's what you like, you're going to like Dune. If it's not, if you think sci-fi is boring, if you think philosophy is boring, if you think movies that aren't 100% action sequences from start to finish are boring, any of that isn't up your alley, you're not going to like the movie, right? And that's cool. It just ain't your thing. There's lots of movies that everybody thinks are great that I think suck, right? I can't stand Pixar movies. They're super popular. People love them. People quote them all the time. I can't stand them. I think that the animation style sucks and is lazy at this point. I think every character looks like every other character. Feels uninspired and rote and predictable, and I haven't seen one in years. And I probably won't watch one ever again. But there are millions upon millions of people who are just waiting for that next Pixar film. I might make fun of them when the topic comes up, but ultimately it's no skin off my hump if they do it. Right? They like that type of shit. Go watch it, man. It ain't for me. That's how I feel about it. The Sunset Limited. Yeah, I gotta watch that movie. You put me up on that game. It's a chamber movie, and it's got I can't remember exactly who was in it. I think it was guy that played Dracula, Gary Oldman, and somebody else. But yeah, I'll lock it in, and it's on Max. Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel L. Okay, I was wrong. Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel L. Jackson are in it. Cool. Those are both good actors. I like a chamber movie. It's on the list. Did a fly buzz you? Tell him go away.
He's enjoying the one little square of sun.
Yeah, he's sunning. Getting a little vitamin D on he bones. Watch any anime lately. No, I'm not a big anime guy. Not a big animation guy. Just not. I like what I like, and I like what I don't like. I don't begrudge anybody their anime, but it's just not something I know a bunch about. And I don't watch them, and I don't really find interest in watching them. So.
Now that you've chewed on it a bit, do you think you're done with Nip Tuck?
Yeah, I was just talking about how I think after this week, because I'm going to be busy, I think we're going to cancel Hulu unless you want to watch something else and get Max again, because that's got Sinners, that's got this other movie that people have been it's been a while since we had HBO, so we'll check out HBO for a couple months and see what's what. But this week is going to be a busy week for me. There's only one movie that's going to come across my desk this week. I got to get my Hey Paul, What You Watching fucking filmed, and then it's Twilight. So that's the only work shit on my fucking slate today. I'm going to go down when I feel like it. I'm going to get my Hey Paul, What You Watching film so Amelia can get on my edit. And then tomorrow, it's Twilight, baby. It's Twilight. I'm going to be fucking writing like I said, by hook or by crook, by Friday, I will have a rough draft. That is my goal. If it takes into Saturday and Sunday, so be it. But by the next time I'm fucking back on clock with content, that rough draft is done, and we're working on that fucking second draft. We're cutting, we're adding, we're tweaking jokes, we're moving it around, we're structuring, get that second draft done, then we're polishing, and then we're done. Then it's me and Amelia, locational shooting, and the edit is starting, and then we're fucking done. So we're if you believe it, time investment wise, right around halfway through the process. Right?
Maybe a third.
I'm telling you, it's longer than you think. Because that initial, when you're doing a franchise review, that initial absorption can't be back to back. You have to let your mind chew. So we did it exactly how I did it with Hellraiser. I didn't sit there and marathon Hellraiser. Your brain's dead by 3. I watched it.
The edit's probably going to take twice as long as watching.
I think you might be overestimating. It is going to take it's going to be a tough edit. But I don't think it's going to take as long as you think. I think it's going to come together, right? I know how to do some of the stuff, structurally speaking. And you're getting better every fucking second of the day at doing the edit stuff that I don't know how to do or I'm not great at. So when it comes to the hard work, for me, there's 2 things: conceptual and edit. Half the hard work is done. Or by the end of this week, half the hard work is done, right? When I've got my first draft, conceptual is wrapping up. Production is starting. That's 50-50. This is a Hey Paul, What You Watching? No, this is a big franchise retrospective on Twilight that we are working on and have been working on for a couple months now.
That's why, the Hey Paul, What You Watching's taking a little bit longer just because we can't talk about nothing but Twilight.
And we traveled a lot too. We had a whole fucking week where we were running around. So yeah, I'm filming my next Hey Paul, What You Watching today. Amelia's going to be tossing that edit out when she gets it done. So that's on the pipes, but no, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a month and a half of concerted effort that Amelia and I have been doing, conceptualizing a big franchise review of Twilight. With locational shoots and all kinds of stuff. It's going to be the biggest review as far as shooting that I've ever done. So it is going to be nice. And it's going to be fun. And it's going to be frustrating to get through. And we're going to have moments where we want to throw our hands up in the air and quit. But at the end of it, the baby will be born. It's going to be a new Twilight movie. No, I'm doing a franchise retrospective on Twilight from the first movie, Twilight, through New Moon Part 2. Breaking Dawn Part 2. Sorry, I get them mixed up. So it's New Moon, it's Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn 1, Breaking Dawn 2. Franchise retrospective. I had fun watching Twilight too. Not to spoil the review. I'm going to rip it to shreds But I had way more fun than I thought I was going to have. I was way more invested than I thought I would get. And that's why it's going to be a great review, because it's unexpected, right? You bring back Chauncey. You're going to have to ask TJ, because Chauncey was abducted.
Well, new
And
Chauncey just ain't gonna feel the same.
no, I can't go get a new. That's a fake Chauncey. Chauncey was abducted. He was under TJ's care, right? And he was abducted, according to TJ's spurious story, by a moving guy. I don't think so. I think TJ lost sight of Chauncey, let him get off on his own somewhere, and wasn't keeping his eye out. And Chauncey's fucking who knows where, on a bender somewhere. So yeah, if he shows up at my door, I'll clean him up, I'll help him get off the shit, and I'll put him back on the show. But Chauncey is Chauncey, man. I can't go get a skeleton and be like, hey, it's Chauncey. No. That's not what... Chauncey was a skeleton. A real human skeleton. And he was in the care of TJ. TJ let it go to shit. All that beer, all that fame went straight to his head, and I think he's on a bender. And he's dead already, so it's not like he's going to stop. It's not like he's going to have that, like, rock bottom moment. He's dead. He doesn't have flesh. He's bones. He's got no incentive. No incentive to clean himself up and to stop doing what he's doing, what I suspect he's doing. But that's up to Chauncey. I would love to collaborate with Chauncey in the future. He was a great reviewer. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm scared starting back up Cinema for Cynics because he carried me. But I'm not going to sit around and wait for Chauncey. Okay? Chauncey is his own skeleton. Okay? So I can't tell him, look, the people need you back. I need you. Trust me, I've tried. He doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't take my calls. Doesn't respond to my letters and postcards. What am I supposed to do? I miss him too, every fucking second of every day. He was my closest collaborator. And, dare I say, at the time, my closest friend and confidant. You know, dare I say it, I loved Chauncey. Thought he loved me too. Maybe he does. Maybe he just needs his time. I don't know, man. Chauncey has been in the limelight for longer than most people can imagine. He was every skeleton in every movie throughout the Silver Age. This is not just a Halloween store prop. This is Chauncey, the skeleton. Daniel, I cannot kiss and tell. I can neither confirm or deny those allegations that have been made about Chauncey and I romantically. Look, I don't talk out of school. I don't talk out of school. But Chauncey knows what happened between us. And what it meant. I'm sorry. This is tough. This is a tough conversation, man. Oh, shit. It's been a long time since I talked about Chauncey. But it's okay. It's okay. I pull it back together. I have to have a cigarette, man. Oh, man, this is fucked up, man. This is raw. This is the real life, though. This is real content creation. It's the type of shit goes on behind the scenes you guys don't fucking get to hear about. I'm sorry. Shh. Don't talk. Please don't torture me. Don't torture me, Matt. Just stop. Okay, I'm a human. I have feelings. I have a heart. I have an emotion. Okay, at least one. All right. Well, that's what I'm saying. If this whole thing is just a cover for him and Chauncey having a thing, look, dude, they have my blessing. Like, if he's keeping them in the closet and they're hiding their love and relationship from me, they have my blessing, right? I've moved on, right? But the pain is still there. I'm not saying it's my favorite thing to hear if that's the case, but... Sure, wherever he is, not a day goes by where he doesn't see you on the face of every child. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't. Chelsea, why'd you do it, man? Why'd you do it, Chelsea? Oh, fuck. Oh. Damn it. Oh, Chauncey. The one that got away. I gotta pull it together. Well, this is not a good look. This is a crash out, man. This is gonna be all over the fucking live stream fails in a minute, man. This is a crash out, bro. We all had a Chauncey. I know. Isn't it true, man? Every man's crossed a bear. Every man's got a Chauncey. So true. Maybe every woman, too. I don't know. Maybe you guys got Chauncey, too. I don't know. But man, that fucking skeleton touched my life, man. I don't know if it's apparent, but that skeleton, man, is the greatest skeleton I ever met. Just brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant, but so sick. So under the thumb of the alcohol and the booze and the women and the drugs and the lifestyle. The men, too. I mean, I don't want to. Chauncey was a. I don't want to speak too much, you know. He's not here to defend himself. And Chauncey got around, you know. The one that rotted away, yeah. Yeah, the TJ does live stream where Chauncey did. I mean, everybody remembers that. That was huge, right? It was just like the biggest stream, the greatest stream. And, I don't know, man. Oh, man. He has such a nice coccyx. I'm not trying to be creepy about it or whatever, but goddamn, man, that coccyx was something else. I've never seen. It's like statuesque. Unbelievable coccyx. Posture. Her rib spacing is just absolutely mathematically perfect. He was beautiful. I mean, in every way you want a skeleton to be. In every way a guy like me, admittedly flawed, could want a skeleton to be. He was just lit up every room that he shambled into. You know, his bones would just gleam so white when he was like that it was almost hard to look at him. Yeah. And his smile, I mean, perpetual rictus smile was just wistful. That's what you've made me. You made me wistful. He did. A skeleton popped out. I think of Chauncey. You know, always will. He ruined that for me. He ruined that meme, and then a skeleton popped out. I took it for granted, you know. Yeah. Good times, though. Good times. I wouldn't take it back. I wouldn't take any of it back, man, because it was just that beautiful. It's just that beautiful. Just that perfect. It's a shame. It really is a shame. Well, now that I'm depressed, I'll let you guys go. I'll let your minds wander somewhere else. I have work to do today.